Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei was Road of the Dragon King? Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Guo Academy, a prestigious school that was formerly a private school for girls only. However, it recently became a school for both boys and girls, much to the delight of the male students. Especially for 3 particular students. These 3 boys are currently running like mad from a crowd. A crowd full of angry, shinai-wielding girls. Damn it all. The boy in the center shouts with a panicked look on his face. He was wearing the designated uniform for his school. Although, he took some liberty with his outfit by wearing no bow tie and has a red t-shirt underneath his jacket. He had brown eyes and brown hair, which is in a spiky mess. Why the hell couldn't keep your damn mouth shut? He was yelling at his 2 friends on his left and right, also running like hell. On his right was a tall, bald-headed guy with a face resembling a monkey's. On the brunette's left was another black-haired boy with glasses. Aw come on, man. Can you really blame us? The monkey-faced kid, known as Mitsuda, asked the brunette in the middle. Yeah. Come on, Issei. Some things can't be helped. The bespectacled boy, named Motohama, interjected with his own opinion. No. Some things can be helped, actually. Like closing your goddamn lee. The boy named Issei looks behind him to see the girls from the kendo club closing in on them. All of them shouting various curses and threats at them. Damn perverts. Get them. You're so dead when we get you. Eat them senseless. Crush their bones. Gouge out their eyes so they never peep on us again. Yep. Issei let out a shriek as the girls' threats became more brutal. Shit. Less talking. More running. The 3 increased their pace. However, inevitability dawned on them as the girls finally caught up to them. Ah. The pained shouts of the 3 boys echoed throughout the academy as they get mercilessly beaten by the kendo girls. The 3 teenagers are resting up against a tree by the old school building, all of them covered in bruises. This sucks, Issei grumbles. He looks over to his 2 friends. Together, they're known as the Perverted Trio, 3 students well known throughout the school for their perverted tendencies. Come on, dude. It's not that bad. Mitsuda said while trying to sit comfortably on the grass. Issei rolls his eyes while leaning against the tree. No, you're right, Mitsuda. I absolutely love the feeling of not being able to sit comfortably on my ass for 3 days. Relax, Issei. Look on the bright side. Motohama's glasses started to suddenly let out a gleam as his nose began to leak with blood. Those girls are so fucking hot. Mitsuda's nose also began to drip blood, yeah. Cadis is so sexy. However, their statements only made Issei angrier. Yeah. That's great and all, but how about you maybe? Oh I don't know. Issei suddenly slams his fist down on top of Mitsuda's head. Let me have a look once in a while. Mitsuda grunts in pain while glaring daggers at Issei. What the fuck, man? It's not my fault you're too slow. The boy reels his fist back, ready to hit Issei as he suddenly swings as hard as he could. However, Issei quickly dodged the fist, causing Mitsuda to hit Motohama. Ow. What the hell, Mitsuda? The boy shouts in pain as he throws a punch at Mitsuda, striking him in the face. Mitsuda, however, decides to hit Issei instead. Ow. Fucking hell. I didn't even hit you that time. Consider that payback. Mitsuda grins arrogantly, only to be struck in the face again by Issei. Soon, Mitsuda put the brunette in a headlock. Motohama quickly joins the fray and tackles the 2 of them. The small scuffle quickly comes to an end as Issei stands on top of both of them. Ha. You jackasses could never defeat me. He says with a face that borders between goofy and maniacal. The only thing the other 2 could do under Issei's heel was to groan in defeat. Issei then looks up to see a figure through one of the windows of the old school building. He stares for a brief moment before stepping off of his friends and walking away. In the building, a well-endowed crimson-haired girl observed the 3 through the window. Though her eye was on one specific person. Bekeno, do you know who that boy is? The girl asks the other person next to her, a girl who is just as well-endowed. Yes. His name is Issei Haidu. He's known as the perverted beast, known for peeking with his 2 friends and has openly admitted to wanting to be a harem king. Akeno couldn't help but giggle after finishing her statement. In all honesty, she found his goofy antics heard around the school to be somewhat amusing. Rias felt the same way, but she kept quiet. However, Akeno continued, an interesting rumor coming from the boys around is that Issei frequently takes part in street brawls. Some say he's a decent fighter, too. The ponytailed beauty poured a cup of tea for the redeed. I see. The crimson-haired girl responds. She then looks over to another figure in the room. Kaneko, do you think you can keep an eye on this boy? She asks the small petite girl with white hair. Yes, President. The girl named Kaneko quickly responds before leaving. After she left, Akeno looks over to the other girl. Why the sudden interest in the boy? Could it be that you've taken a liking to him, Rias? Rias puts down the teacup that she was sipping from. The boy is quite interesting if I'm being honest here. But more than that, she looks back out the window where Issei was a moment ago. I can't help but feel like there's something dormant inside him. Issei is walking home from school along with Mitsuda and Motohama. He takes a ride around the corner of a building, only to be met with a sudden punch to the face. Ah! Issei stumbles backward as he suddenly falls over. He looks up to see Mitsuda and Motohama shaking in fear. He also sees a very pissed off looking biker dude with short blonde hair and donned a leather jacket. Alright. What the hell is your problem? Issei asks, trying to be diplomatic despite taking a punch to the face by this guy. The guy cracks his knuckles as he prepares to beat the crap out of the three of them. You know damn well what my problem is, Haidu. He says angrily. Great. He knows my name, Issei thinks to himself sarcastically. Look, I don't know who you are, but whatever I did to piss you off, I'm sorry that it shutted, Haidu. I'm here for this asshole. He points to Mitsuda. Huh? Me? Yeah, that's right, dickhead. You've been messing with my girl again. Explain, Mitsuda. Issei suddenly glares at Mitsuda. Mitsuda suddenly shakes before raising his hands up in the air. Alright. I saw this cute chick who looked hot in a leather jacket. I started talking to her while maybe ogling her sweet chest. I mean seriously, her tits were amazing, Issei. You should have seen Issei pops Mitsuda over the head. Dumbus. He shouts. Yeah. Motohama jumped in the conversation. You broke our pact, man. We all made a promise to never hit on the biker chicks again. I mean, those girls are sexy and all, but it's not worth it when we have to deal with these douchebags. Oh. So we're douchebags, now? A voice says from behind the perverted trio. Said voice belonged to another biker, and behind him were three other guys. Goddammit, Motohama, Issei mutters. The blonde biker, assumed to be the leader, starts speaking again. Can't run from us now, can you, Haidu? He asks with an arrogant grin. Issei sighs heavily while looking at the guys surrounding him and his friends, who are clinging to him desperately. No. I guess I can't. The brunette says while pointing to a nearby alleyway. But if you don't want to look any worse than you already do, then I suggest we take this little confrontation over there. That way, neither of us have to worry about cops. The leader smiles at Issei. I like the way you think, let's go then. They all head into the alley, making sure no one's watching them. After they go in deep enough, the biker gang surrounds the three perverts. Mitsuda begins to laugh suddenly. Phew, ha ha ha. You dickheads don't stand a chance against us now. He says while pointing at them. Motohama smiles gleefully while striking a pose. That's right. We may be known for peeking in the girls' locker room, but we are terrifying fighters as well. No one has survived the might of the perverted trio. Mitsuda and Motohama shouted while pumping their fists up in the air. Mitsuda began to make a hissing noise while getting into a snake-style kung fu stance. Motohama decides to prepare a crane kick while letting out a quiet hue. This odd display only confused the bikers, while Issei simply takes off his school jacket and tosses it on top of the dumpster nearby. He bends his right knee forward while keeping his fist slightly above his waist. TCH. First I don't get to see Murayama's tits, and now I have to deal with these shonen manga rejects. I'm in a bad mood, Issei thought. Gee. Look at these clowns. One of the bikers shouts, come on guys. Let's beat their ass. The guy charges forward, only to be halted by a left hook from Issei. The biker staggers back as the other looks shocked by Issei's sudden attack. However, the leader soon breaks the spell. Come on. That was just a lucky punch. Get them. The blonde leader says while the others suddenly charge at the trio. Ha. Give it your best MBFF. Mitsuda takes a right cross to the nose. Matsuga. Motohama takes a hard kick to the stomach. God damn it. Issei shouts while punching one of the bikers in the face. However, he ends taking two punches to his own face while blocking a kick to the stomach. The brunette quickly retaliates with a kick of his own while taking another punch. Issei grabs a biker by the jacket and headbutts him square in the nose. 2 down, Issei thought before taking a punch from his right, causing him to stagger and hit the wall. Gah. Shit. The remaining 3 corner Issei against the wall. Issei stretched his arms out, his right touching the dumpster that he threw his jacket on. Wait a minute, Issei begins to smile to himself. Any last words, prick? The leader smiles arrogantly at Issei. However, Issei only returns a smug grin of his own. Yeah. Catch. Issei suddenly says while throwing his jacket at the bikers. He takes advantage of their shock and rams his shoulder into the leader's stomach, tackling him against the other wall. Issei gives a quick 1-2 punch to the blonde biker's face, knocking him out. Issei glares at the remaining 2, who look scared now. Fuck this man. Let's get out of here. The 2 run off. Issei leans against the wall, breathing heavily. He looks over to his 2 friends who just got up. You guys okay? He asks them. The 2 put their thumbs up and grin. No problems here. Mitsuda says despite having blood drip down his face. Yeah. We're good. Motohama adjusts his cracked glasses. Issei smiles at them while wiping off his own blood. Despite the fact that they were a huge pain in the ass to him, he still considered the two friends. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow. He says before walking away, carrying his jacket on his right shoulder. Wait man. I thought we were gonna hang out today. I even got a new DVD and everything. Mitsuda says while pulling a porno movie out of his bag. Issei sighs and keeps walking ahead. Look, I'm tired today. And after taking 2 beatings on the same day, I'll just head home. He says, leaving his 2 friends behind. Motohama gives a wave to his buddy. Alright man. We'll see you tomorrow. Issei gives a quick wave to them without looking back. Issei continues his path home until a girl wearing a school uniform steps in front of him. However, it was different from his school. Her uniform consisted of a black jacket with a gold emblem on her chest and a red skirt. Speaking of her chest, Issei stared at it for a quick moment. Nice. Issei smiles almost lecherously. However, he stops himself as she began speaking. She seems nervous. I wonder what she wants with me. Issei wonders before she speaks again. Are you Issei Haidu? She asks him. Issei looks confused for a moment before answering, oh. He smiles at her. How does this girl know my name? And if she knows my name, why isn't she running away from me? Then again, she probably goes to another school where they don't know about the crap involving the perverted trio. Wait a minute, why should I be questioning this? A smoking hot chick is talking to me. He smiles excitedly, bordering on goofy. While Issei was internally rambling, the girl suddenly looked up at him with reddened cheeks. Would you be my boyfriend? Would you be my boyfriend? The girl asks Issei. Issei couldn't believe what he was hearing. Me? Be her boyfriend? He takes a look at the girl once more. She's easily one of the most beautiful girls that I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot considering all the hot girls at my school. Issei gulped before answering her, trying to contain his excitement, of course. I'd love to be your boyfriend. He tried to contain his excitement, but he failed miserably. The girl looked surprised at Issei's outburst, but she giggled about a minute after. Great. How about we go out together this Sunday? She suggests while she's still blushing. Issei nods eagerly, that sounds great. But what's your name? He asks. It was weird that she somehow knew his name, but not the other way around. The girl looked confused for a moment. Oh gosh. I'm sorry. She takes a minute to compose herself. My name is Yuma. Yuma Mono. Well, it's nice to meet you, Yuma, Issei says with flushed cheeks. So I'll see you on Sunday? He asks awkwardly. Of course. Yuma nods, but wait, she walks up to Issei. Before you go, could you hand me your phone? Huh? Oh sure, Issei pulls out his phone to hand over to Yuma. Yuma starts pushing buttons on his phone. After about half a minute, Yuma hands the phone back to Issei. He looks at it to see that he's got a new number under his contacts. Holy shit. I got a girl's phone number. He thinks with joy. Yuma gives a quick bow. Bye Issei, she says before running off. See you on Sunday. She waves at Issei as she leaves. Issei waves back at her before looking down at his phone. Yahoo. I did it. I got a girl's number. Issei jumps up while pumping his fist up in the air. He eagerly runs home. This is it. The first step. Look out, world. You're looking at the birth of a brand new Harem King. Issei comes home with a smile on his face. He sees his parents in the kitchen, his mother cooking up dinner and his father reading the paper at the dining table. Mom. Dad. I'm home. He greets them cheerfully. Mr. Haidu looks away from his paper to see Issei. Hey son, he greets his son happily, before frowning. Did you get into another fight? Mr. Haidu asks Issei seriously. He probably got beaten up by the girls in his school again. Mrs. Haidu says with a sigh. Actually, it was both. And I technically never peeked. Even though I wanted to, Issei thought to himself, it wouldn't be a smart idea to let those thoughts out of his mouth. He quickly shakes his head while still keeping a cheerful smile. That doesn't matter. Look, he says to them happily while pulling out his phone, showing Yuma's name under his contacts. I got a girl's phone number. Issei's parents suddenly stopped dead. Did I hear that, right? Mrs. Haidu asked her husband. I think her son just walked in and told us that he got a girl's number, Mr. Haidu responded. Issei nods, and I got a date with her on Sunday too. This shocked the parents even more. They look at each other then back to their son. Mr. Haidu starts. Date. Mrs. Haidu finishes. They look at each other before smiling happily. They then embrace each other. I can't believe it. Our son got a date. Our perverted pathetic son got himself an actual date. Mrs. Haidu says happily. I know. I can't believe it. This could lead to grandchildren. Now the Haidu bloodline doesn't have to die with us. Mr. Haidu shouts with joy, causing Issei to sigh heavily. I know they mean well, but come on. He thinks to himself. Although, he couldn't help but smile at his parents. They at least seemed happy for him, even if they were weird about it. Soon, the family of 3 began to eat their dinner. The parents mostly talked about Issei's date and how they want lots and lots of grandchildren. Issei spent the majority of dinner time being flustered by Mr. and Mrs. Haidu's absurd statements and reactions. After dinner, Issei went up to his room and locked the door behind him. He sighs heavily as he lays down on his bed, a single question plaguing his thoughts. What do I do on a date? Issei sits up from his bed while rubbing his head in frustration. He stands up, looks over to his shelf filled with various ecchi and hentai manga, visual novels, and anime. Maybe one of these could give me some ideas. He begins with the various hentai DVDs, only to quickly disregard them. All that's giving me is very weird blackmail ideas. Or showing that the girl is a slut. Maybe Yuma is actually no. Issei shakes his head. No. I can't think like that. This is my first real date. I can't screw this up. After all, he lays back down on his bed with a goofy grin on his face. This is the first step to becoming a harem king. Issei was in class the next morning, reading an ecchi manga before the bell rang. This caused a few whispers to occur among the girls in the class. Seriously? He has to read that here? Odd, he's such a pervert. Why doesn't he just go away? Disgusting freak. Issei ignored them and continued reading. Mitsuda and Motohama came up to the brunette and greeted him. What's up, my man? Mitsuda pats Issei's back. You reading some good old-fashioned literature? Nice. But didn't you read this one already? He says while taking a peek over Issei's shoulder. I have, Issei responds, not looking away from the book. I'm just trying to see if I can get any ideas on what to do for my date on Sunday, he says casually while flipping a page. Oh. I see, Mitsuda says as he sits at the desk behind Issei. However, the rest of the class were shocked at what Issei just said. Mitsuda didn't immediately register what Issei said until he sat down. His response was to grab Issei by the collar and suddenly slam the back of his head into the desk, fucking what Mitsuda shouts. OWWW. What the hell, jackass? Issei shouts in pain as he looks over to Mitsuda. You have a freaking date, Motohama yells, trying to put Issei in a headlock. People started whispering to each other again. He's got a date. No way. Him. I bet he forced her. Yeah. He probably threatened to beat her up or something. Yeah. I have a date this Sunday. What of it? Issei yells though it's towards the duo trying to kick his ass. I thought we were a team. Motohama cries. Why would you betray us? What the foo, I didn't betray you guys. Issei tried to explain himself but was cut off by Mitsuda. You abandoned your comrades. Getting ahead in the game is no different than stabbing us in the back. Issei slams his head into the perverted Baldi's skull. Do you realize the absurd bullshit that's spilling out of your mouth? Are you saying that I should stay in the lower levels, not making any progress like you two? That's right. We're in this together, damn it. Motohama tries to tighten his grip on Issei. Thankfully, before the fight could escalate any further, the school began to ring. All the students went to their seats as the teacher walked in. The teacher began his lesson for the day while Issei took notes. Not on the lesson, but for his date. He lets out a low, cheerful hum, much to the dismay of his buddies. I can't wait. Issei thinks happily to himself. Throughout the week, Issei called Yuma on a couple of occasions. The two of them mostly talked about their day. Although, Issei kept quiet about girls chasing him because his two friends kept peeking on the kendo girls. Unbeknownst to him, however, Kaneko kept an eye on him, making sure to keep a considerable distance away from him. Every night, she would see Rias and give her a report on Issei. I see. Thank you, Kaneko. Continue to observe him for a little while longer, was always the response that Rias gave to Kaneko. If Kaneko was being honest, she found Issei to be unimpressive. She never saw the potential that her president apparently saw in him. All Kaneko saw was a pervert acting like an idiot. She didn't even find his fighting skills to be that promising. If he was any good, he wouldn't have a scratch on him. Kaneko thought while she continues to observe him. Issei suddenly awoke in a cold black void. However, his vision was hazy. Where am I? He looks around to see a pool of blood around him. What the hell? Is this my blood? I'm dying. Soon, he sees a large sea of flames quickly engulfing him. However, it doesn't burn him. It's not hot, it doesn't hurt, he guess it's a sign that I'm dying soon. Issei sees a giant monstrous figure in the center of the flames. It let out a huge roar as it spreads its gargantuan wings. Issei suddenly jolted awake on his bed. What the hell was that? Issei thinks to himself. That was definitely one of the weirder dreams that I've ever had. Issei shakes his head, deciding to push the dream into the back of his thoughts while getting up. More importantly, today's the big day. Issei thinks happily. He quickly hops into the shower. After washing up, Issei looks through the closet to find any good outfits to wear. Shit. I probably should have bought some outfits for the date. Damn it, why didn't I put that down? He mutters to himself while looking through his notes. He sighs and decides to improvise. He ended up going with a black tank top, a red hoodie, and a pair of blue jeans. This should do for now, Issei thought. He studies his notes one more time and then pats his face with both of his hands. Okay. Let's do this, Issei grins happily. He runs out the door in excitement. Mom. Dad. I'm heading out now. He says before closing the door behind him. Issei hung around the shopping district, eagerly waiting for Yuma to show up. At some point, a girl wearing a strange bat costume approached Issei. She gave him a flyer with a pentagram on it. On the top of the flyer, it read, "May all your wishes come true." The girl gave a quick wave to Issei before walking away. Issei couldn't help but give a light chuckle. Not a bad way to advertise, he thought before crumpling up the paper and putting it in his pocket. A few minutes later, Yuma shows up wearing a short black dress and pink shirt over it. The outfit showed a generous view of her cleavage, much to the glee of Issei. Holy shit, she's beautiful. He thought happily. Hi Issei. Sorry, I'm late. She says while approaching Issei. The brunette simply shrugs, it's alright. I just got here, myself, he tells her. Yes. Always wanted to say that, shall we? Issei asks while holding out his hand. Yes. Yuma said with a joyful smile on her face while clinging to Issei's arm. She made extra sure to press her breasts against his arm and rests her head on his shoulder. Eee. This feels so wonderful. Issei looks down at your chest and begins to think about Grabby. No. You gotta focus, man. Issei quickly tries to get rid of those thoughts. You can't just start thinking about yourself. You gotta make sure she's having a good time, Issei tells himself. Hungry. I know a great place where we could grab a quick bite, Issei suggested, which he then started to berate himself for. Damn it, dude. She may not even be hungry. Shit, I knew I shouldn't have skipped breakfast. That's why I'm thinking about food all of a sudden. However, Yuma smiled at him, that sounds like a good idea. Truth be told, I kinda skipped breakfast because I was so eager to see you today. Sorry, I know that sounds kinda lame, she looks with flushed cheeks. Oh no. I understand. I felt the same way, Issei tried to reassure her, that's it, buddy. Nice and smooth, he thought. Soon, the two enter a small family restaurant and ordered a chocolate parfait for each of them. Issei began to dig in but made sure to slow down. Part of it was because he wanted to savor this moment with Yuma, but mostly it was to make sure he didn't look like a pig in front of her. Girls don't like slobs. He watched Yuma eat the parfait. Delicious. She says happily. Man, she looks so adorable when she eats. Plus Issei looks down slightly, staring at Yuma's chest. So round. So jiggly. So stop. Stop ogling that amazing chest. Issei berates himself once more. The two sat in silence, enjoying each other's company while they eat. Afterward, they went out to a clothing store. They didn't really buy anything, though. Issei just mostly showed some goofy outfits, joking about buying them, making Yuma laugh. Yes. Girls love a sense of humor. Issei praises himself. He did end up buying a purple scrunchie for her, actually surprising her. Oh wow. I love it. She says while showing it off to Issei. He smiles warmly at her reaction. This is what it feels like, huh? To be a normal teenager who goes out on dates. I feel alive, he thought soberly. However, an astute observer, in this case, Kaneko, could see that something was off about this date. Sure, Issei seemed genuinely happy from the bottom of his heart, but Yuma seemed off. Most of her reactions were either reserved or forced to be happy. It was almost as if she just wanted to get this date over with. The sun was beginning to set as Issei and Yuma arrived at the park, their hands entangled in each other. This is it, right? This is where I get my first kiss. Issei's thoughts were scrambled with excitement. Yes. This is it. The first step into manhood. Goodbye, super virgin. Hello, man. He then took a deep breath. Alright. Play it cool. You can't screw this up. Not this late in the game. I had really good time today, Yuma says with her back turned to Issei. Yeah. Me too. Today was really great. Issei says happily. Hey Issei. Yuma turns around, her head hanging low, so Issei couldn't see her eyes. Yeah? But Yuma never finished her sentence. As soon as she was about to speak, a huge ball of flames hit the ground between the two of them, causing the both of them to fly backward. Yuma jumped up high in the air and sprouted huge black wings from her back. Naturally, she didn't expect a big-ass fireball to fly out of nowhere. In the corner of her eye, she sees a grotesque creature popping out from the woods. Damn it. This wasn't according to plan. Yuma thought with her real voice. Rainer couldn't believe it. Everything was perfectly planned out. Manipulate the dumb boy with a sacred gear, pull him into a false sense of security, then stab him in the heart. It was perfect. Despite all that careful planning, however, a giant fireball had to come and ruin everything. The fallen angel looked over to the source of the fireball. She saw a large disgusting creature. It had the appearance of a snail with the face of an elderly man on its shell. The snail itself was bright red. Issei's head was in pain. What happened? He thought as he tried to get up but couldn't even move. He turns his head to that monstrosity slowly moving toward the park. What the hell is that? Issei looked terrified at this point. He had never seen anything like that in his life. Well, outside of manga anyway. I need to get Yuma out of here. Where is she? Is she ok? Issei tried to get up to look for Yuma, but it was nearly impossible to move. No. Come on, damn it. No matter what happens, a man stands up for his girl. Issei then felt a burning sensation on his shoulder. He turned to see that his hoodie was on fire. Shit. It burns, he thought while trying to take it off despite the pain. Every bone in his body hurt like hell, but Issei still tried to push forward. Come on, Issei. Grit your teeth. And push forward. He manages to slip off his hoodie, however, he stayed low on the ground due to the fact that the snail creature was looking around. Shit. This fucking thing isn't gonna make it easy for me, huh? Issei tried to crawl away in the woods. Come on. Nice and easy. Just slip under the radar. Rainer looked down at the creature with anger. TCH. Damn stray, a fuchsia-colored light began to form in her right hand. The light gradually took shape into a spear. However, she quickly stopped herself when she saw a small, white-haired figure nearby. Damn. Another devil. Rainer thought while looking over to see Issei's hoodie on fire. Presuming that he's dead, Rainer simply looked down at the charred piece of clothing. If you want to blame anyone, blame God for passing down a sacred gear to the likes of you, was Rainer's last thought before deciding to retreat. Kaneko looked surprised at the sudden appearance of a stray devil. She decided to consult her president about this. A red magic circle appeared in front of the white-haired girl. President, we have a problem, Kaneko talks into the circle. What is it? What's wrong? Ria's voice could be heard through the circle. A stray suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Shall I dispose of it? Yes. Make sure it doesn't cause any damage than it already has, Rias ordered Kaneko. Understood, Kaneko responded and then immediately charged at the large snail, while the communication circle disappeared. The snail looked at Kaneko, and the mouth of the old man on the shell began to spit fire. However, Kaneko dodged by quickly dashing to the right. The face continued to spit fireballs at Kaneko, each one she dodged. Soon, she came up to the devil's right side and struck the shell with a powerful uppercut, sending the snail flying with a cracked shell. The face screamed in pain while Kaneko jumped up in the air. Fly, she said monotonously while doing a flying spin kick, striking the same spot where she first hit it. The snail was sent flying from the impact. Kaneko landed on her feet. She looked over to see Issei's charred hoodie. This is bad, she thought before forming the communication circle to talk to Rias again. I found Issei's hoodie, but that's all I can find of him, she informs her president. There was a brief silence. I see. So he didn't use the flyer? Unlikely. Otherwise, he would have used it by now. And what of the fallen angel? She got away, Kaneko heard a sigh on the other end. It was clear that she was frustrated. I see, Rias spoke after a minute. Alright, I want you to come back to us, Kaneko. But what about the stray? It could still be alive. If it's still alive, then we can come back as a group. But for now, I want you to return. Understood, a magic circle formed underneath Kaneko's feet and she teleported away. Issei managed to stand up after heading to the woods, but the pain is still there. Ow. 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 Everything hurts. Everything fucking hurts, Issei lets out a low grunt while leaning up against a tree. It was just like that dream I had. No. This seemed a different Issei recalled the dream where he saw a monstrous figure in the flames, but it was nothing like that giant snail. That's right. In my dream, the monster had wings. And it looked more like a dragon. Issei continued to move forward, slowly limping to the nearest tree. Forget about that for now. I just need to focus on getting the hell out of here. God, I hope Yuma is safe. Issei looks around to see if she's nearby. I don't see her nearby. Maybe she got away safely, he tried to think optimistically. However, his thoughts were cut off when he heard a loud shriek, causing him to fall over in surprise. Ah fuck, Issei groaned as he tried to get up again. However, all he could manage to do this time was to sit up against a tree. This is bad. This is really bad. How did that creature end up over here? Issei thought to himself. Soon, the brunette saw the snail approach him. His vision was hazy. He felt lightheaded. There is no way I can escape this, he thought. So this is how I die, huh? Shit man, couldn't I at least Yuma one last time? Maybe even grab her tits? Issei started chuckling at this point. Really? I can't stop thinking about tits even on my deathbed. God, I'm so pathetic. Don't want to go out like this. I don't want to die pathetically, he thought while closing his eyes. But you want to live? A deep voice was suddenly heard in Issei's head. Wait, what? But you want to live? The voice repeated. Issei thought about it for a moment. Of course, he wanted to live. He never even had his chance to form a harem. He wanted to see Yuma again. I don't want to die a virgin. Issei suddenly thought. Do you want power? The voice asked Issei another question. Wait a minute. Who are you? Issei questioned. Answer the question. Do you want power or not? The voice repeated the question again. Power? The power to do what? You may be able to escape death by the hands of this monster. But only if you have the power. Fine. I want power. I want to survive. Issei's resolve suddenly began to grow. I'm not gonna die a virgin. And I won't rest until I become a harem king. The voice in Issei's head seemed puzzled at the boy's priorities. However, the voice did find Issei's sudden resolve admirable. Then summon me. The voice said. The snail came closer and closer to Issei. The face on the shell opened its eyes to suddenly spot Issei. Summon? Wait, what? Issei looked confused. Summon? How was he supposed to do that? What the hell was he even gonna summon? I don't have time to go into detail. Just listen. The voice said, if you want to use me, think of the strongest person in your eye. The strongest person? Issei thought. He felt like asking more questions, but decided to toss them aside as the snail got closer. He then began to think about the strongest person in his eyes. Only one person could ever come to mind. Son Goku, Issei thought. His favorite show growing up was Dragon Ball. He collected every volume of the manga. He even made extra sure to keep it separated from his Eki stuff. Okay. Now what? Now? Think of their strongest attack and imitate it. Make sure to put emphasis on your left hand and put all your weight behind it. Heart of Issei felt like he was being trolled by someone, but decided to roll with it. He was too desperate to care about looking like an idiot. He put his hands behind his back, prepping to do the Kamehameha wave. Issei imagined a ball of energy between his hands. The energy kept expanding in his mind. Finally, he thrusts his hands forward, putting everything he had into the attack. Issei shouted with all his might. He had no idea why he was doing this anymore, but he just kept on shouting. All of a sudden, the back of Issei's left hand began to glow green. Then, an orb started to form. Issei raised his hand up in the air by impulse. What the hell? He thought in surprise. Dragon booster. The voice in Issei's head could suddenly be heard through his hand. Red energy began to form around Issei, though it eventually started to focus on his left arm. After about a minute, a gauntlet began to materialize. It had golden spikes jutting out from each side, and the green orb glowed on the back of his hand. Boost. The voice suddenly shouted and Issei somehow felt stronger. However, before Issei could relax, the snail began to spit fireballs at Issei. Shit. Issei shouted while dodging to the right. He momentarily forgot about the amount of pain he was in, so he suddenly fell on his face. Boost. The voice shouted again. Damn it. What do I do now? Issei thought. There is a hole in this monster's shell. The voice started talking through Issei's hand, the orb flashing with each syllable he uttered. If you can attack through the hole, you may be able to hit its weak point that the shell is protecting. However, it may be wiser to run away for right now. Issei suddenly stood up, ignoring the pain. No, I'm not running away. I never ran from a fight before. This is no different, right? Issei began to mutter. Boost. Issei ran past another fireball as he kept charging at the stray devil. Boost. And besides, I don't think this thing will let me get away, he thought to himself. Charging ahead with nothing held back. An admirable way to die, I suppose. The voice thought to himself. However, his thoughts were heard by Issei. Hey jackass, didn't you hear me? Issei shouted while dodging another fireball. He dodges another ball flame. Not. The impact of the explosion launched Issei forward, forcing him to hit the nearest tree. Boost. Issei jumped up to the highest nearest branch, then dived forward towards the snail's broken shell. Explosion. Issei started to explode with energy all of a sudden as he threw a left punch with everything he had, piercing the membrane. The giant snail and its shell screamed in pain, while Issei kept crushing it with his punch. Soon, the stray devil was smashed, killed by Issei's punch. Issei himself was leaning against a tree, breathing heavily. Reset. The voice said as Issei sat down. Got him. What was that? Issei, feeling all the pain come back to him. He looks at his hand. What are you? I am the sacred gear, boosted gear. But before I was in the state you see now, I was once a powerful dragon known as the Red Dragon Emperor. The voice spoke to Issei. But I suppose you can call me Drake. Issei woke up suddenly. He looked around only to see that he was in his room. He rubbed his head in confusion and in slight pain. Ugman, what happened? Issei thought to himself as he saw the door open. His mother walked in through the door. Issei. Sweetie. Are you alright? Mrs. Haidu asked, her voice full of concern. Issei let out a quiet groan. Yeah, Mom. I'm fine, he told her. His mother then sat down next to him on his bed. She looked kind of angry now. What were you doing, boy? Your father and I were very worried about. You never came home. Did you get into another fight? Issei looks over at mom. He couldn't tell her the truth about the weird monster that he saw when he was out on the date with Yuma. Look, mom. Yeah, I ran into some guys after my date with Yuma. They were pretty vicious, too. I'm sorry, Issei tried to apologize, but his mother looked confused. Who's Yuma? And you went out on a date? She asked, shocked. Wait, what? Issei thought in confusion. Yuma? You know, that girl I went out with? I told you about this last week. I would have remembered something like that, Mrs. Haidu said to him. Come on, mom. You have to remember. You and dad wouldn't stop celebrating. That sounds like something we do, but I honestly don't remember. Shit. Issei thought frustratingly while looking around frantically for his phone. He finds it and opens it up to show his mom the contacts list only to find nothing. It's not here. What the hell? Sweetie, are you not feeling well? No. It's here. It has to be. It's alright. Just get some rest for right now, Mrs. Haidu said before getting up and walking out of his bedroom. Issei lays his head on the pillow. It doesn't make any sense, Issei mutters. He then decides to text Mitsuda and Motohama about his date. However, both of them responded saying that neither of them doesn't remember or believe him. Issei shut his phone in frustration. What the hell? Sleep well, kid. Drake spoke inside Issei's head. Huh? Oh he Drake. Yeah, I'm fine I guess. Still feel like shit though, I see. So, what are you gonna do now? What do you mean? Issei thought in confusion. You will most likely be targeted by other devils now that you've awakened me. Drake explained. Wait, devils? Yes. That creature you defeated is known as a devil. There will be more coming for just like that creature, some even stronger. Oh good. And maybe we could have the sky literally rain shit on me. Issei thought sarcastically. Drake sighed in his head. Look, you can either sit there or you can get off of your ass and do something about it. The dragon spoke with frustration in his voice. Like what? You mean train? Exactly. Truth be told, kid, it's an absolute miracle that you're even alive. Your body can barely handle my power as you are now. Power? You mean that boost thing? Issei recalled the number of times he heard Drake shout that word. Wait, is that how I was able to beat that demon or whatever? Devil. Drake corrected, and yes. The boosted gear has the ability to double the host's power every 10 seconds. Wait. Really, that's fucking awesome. Issei thought excitedly. However, it comes with a very hefty price. The host can only hold so much power depending on their skill. Issei then frowned as a thought occurred to him. I guess I'm weak then, huh? He asked Drake somberly. Weaker than most, yes. Drake answered honestly, but with the right training, you could grow into a powerful warrior. Issei sat quietly for a moment before looking out the window. He thought about Yuma and his harem dream. It's up to you. Either way, if I die, then I simply move on to another host. Wait a minute. If you just move on when you die, then why tell me all this? Issei seemed confused at Drake's remark. For a brief moment he was moved by your resolve. But I guess the only reason you were acting like that was because you didn't want to die. Since now it seems like you're gonna give up. What the hell do you mean, give up? Don't you see? This is perfect. Issei began to grin. I have a second chance now. I'm gonna use it to become a harem king. I'm gonna do everything in my power to achieve that goal. If that means that I need to train in order to survive, then so be it. I'm gonna bust my ass for that future harem. Issei thought passionately. There's no way that I'm gonna die a virgin. Bragg started to chuckle, confusing Issei. I have a feeling that you're gonna be quite the interesting host. Very well, then. Let me see you put that resolve to the test. Issei decided to not go to school for the rest of the week. He missed 2 days anyways due to being unconscious. After a while, Issei decided to sneak out of his bedroom and head to the park. He began doing some stretches. So I've been meaning to ask this, what exactly is a sacred gear? Issei said. On the surface, it looked like Issei was a crazy person who was talking to himself. However, a voice did respond to his question. This voice belonged to the Welsh dragon, also known as Drake. How do I put this? Drake began to ponder. The best way I can describe it is basically they're items that were created by God and gets passed down to humans. There was a brief moment of silence, save for Issei's grunts as he dropped to the ground and started doing push-ups. That's it? Issei asked. I figured there would be more to it than that. There is. Drake interjected. Issei forgot that their minds are linked together. Therefore, Issei's thoughts could be heard by the dragon. These items can create all sorts of miracles. Like what? Well, for starters, it can boost one's power exponentially. Drake sighed. Okay. Can I get another example that doesn't make you sound like a smartass? Issei complained. Like I said, kid, these items can do all sorts of things. The possibilities are practically endless. Alright. I think I get it, Issei grunted out while reaching his 25th push-up. The only way I'd get a better idea about them is if I see some for myself. Eventually, Issei managed to reach 50 push-ups, much to his disappointment. Damn. So at my base power, I can only reach 50. Looks like I need to train a lot more, Issei thought before he began shadowboxing. He started out with 2 or 3 jabs before he incorporated a cross, a right hook, a left uppercut, and finally ending it with a quick 1-2. I'm sure there are devils out there that are much faster than this, Issei continued berating himself before sitting on the grass, wondering what to do next. Maybe I should move on to weight training. Issei went to the nearest gym to start his weight training. He began a little small with 15 pounds dumbbells. He did 30 curls for each arm. He then went and did some barbell squats with 75 pounds on his shoulder. He saw a punching bag in the corner of his eye. Nah, maybe later, Issei thought while continuing with his squats. He decided to call it quits after 40 squats. It's best not to overdo it, kid. Drake told the heavily breathing brunette. Yeah, huff sounds like a good idea, Issei thought. Issei left the gym soon after and headed to a sports store. He bought a pair of 10-pound ankle weights and a hand gripper with his allowance. Weird. I never thought I'd be buying training equipment with my money. I usually always get porn, Issei thought. So tell me, why exactly aren't the girls swooning over you? Drake rolled his eyes at the boy. Hey. Guess what? Go fuck yourself. Issei went ahead and put on the ankle weights. He could immediately tell the difference. This feels weird. Issei began to lightly jog to his house. His feet felt heavy from the extra weight. Damn. This is gonna be a huge pain in the ass, Issei complained while training with the hand gripper. Well, you could always just give up and die. What did you call yourself at one point? Oh yeah. A super virgin. Drake smirked, hoping to get a reaction from Issei. And get a reaction he did. Alright, you giant shit-king lizard, I'm gonna show you. I can get through this. I will become stronger. This was Issei's last thought before he went to bed. Issei began to dream. His dream consisted of various naked girls, including Murayama and Yuma, swooning and running their hands all over his overly muscular body while he flexes. That's right, ladies, drink it all in, Issei spoke in his dream. Hi. Issei is so strong. Murayama said happily. The other girls began to giggle while Issei smirks arrogantly. He looks over to Yuma, who simply smiles warmly at him. All of a sudden, the surroundings became a black void. All that was left was Issei, who shrank back down to his normal size, and Yuma. Yuma looked down to avoid Issei's gaze before she turned her back to him and floated away. Yuma. Wait. Issei ran after her, but he could never catch up. Soon, Yuma began to widen the gap between the two of them. However, Issei kept trying to desperately run after her. Yuma. Issei called out to her, but she eventually disappeared from his vision. Soon, Issei collapsed out of exhaustion. Issei jolted awake. He looked around and saw that he was in his room. He groans while rubbing his forehead. Yuma, he thought quietly before shaking his head. I gotta focus for right now. I need to get stronger. Issei got out of bed, doing some light stretches before heading out and starting his training regimen again. Throughout the week, Issei continued this impromptu training regimen. He would always start out with some light stretching before doing either push-ups, sit-ups, or pull-ups on the monkey bars. He would then work on his shadowboxing, incorporating various combos and even throwing in a few flicker jabs. At the gym, he would practice more combos on the punching bag and work on his weightlifting. By the end of the week, Issei could hold 100 pounds on his back while doing squats and could do 100 curls with 50 pounds dumbbells. Afterward, he would do a 3-mile run with 10 pounds, each strapped to his ankles. At home, Issei would continue to work on his gripping strength with a hand grip while taking notes on how to pick up chicks from the manga he read, much to Drake's ire. Good to know you have your priorities, kid. Hey, thanks, Issei thought happily, not catching Drake's sarcasm, causing him to groan. During Issei's training, Drake would explain to Issei about the world around him, or more specifically that devils wouldn't be the only one targeting him. What do you mean? I mean that there are other beings that will come after you because of your power, not just devils. Like what? Angels and their fallen counterpart. However, those may not be as common around here due to the fact that this is a devil's territory. I gotcha, so everyone's coming after me, huh? Then I need to make sure that I'm strong enough that I can kick all their asses. There are those that may not have the intention to harm you. You could gain powerful allies. I hope you realize that soon, boy, Drake thought to himself. As the week was coming to an end, Issei learned a lesson part of harsh reality, at least according to him. Training is a lot like grinding in an RPG. It may seem fun at first, and you feel like you're making real progress, but it gets old, tiring, monotonous, and you may not even reach the desired result that you want. It was Saturday night as Issei began walking home after his 3-mile run. Holy fuck, am I tired, Issei groaned. I'd say you've made some decent progress for a human. Drake tried to reassure him. Thanks, he guessed. Issei stopped in his tracks as he found himself in the park where he last saw Yuma. His expression grew somber as he started to remember the date, or more specifically how the date ended. I hope you're okay, Yuma. Well, what do we have here? A voice suddenly spoke out, causing Issei to jump slightly and look around. Issei spots a middle-aged man wearing a trench coat and a fedora. "You look lost, kid," the man spoke to Issei while smirking. "Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't think you'll be able to lure me to your windowless van with a line like that." Issei smirks back at him. "You gotta tell me about the candy you got in there." "Well, now. The little shit's got jokes." The man's smile grew wider. "My name is Donaseek. And simply put, I'm here to put an end to what my colleague couldn't finish." All of a sudden, a pair of black wings began to sprout from Donaseek's back. Issei suddenly jumped back as Donaseek flew up into the air. The fallen angel. Here Issei thought in shock. However, he tried to compose himself. "So what do you want with a guy like me? You gonna flash me the goods?" Donaseek furrowed his eyebrows before holding out his hand. As a matter of fact, a blue light began to form in his hand. It began to take the shape of a spear. "Wait, what? Both types of angels have the ability to manipulate light. Be careful." Drake warned as Donaseek hurled the light spear at Issei. Issei quickly jumped to the right as the spear came down. "Shit. This is bad," Issei thought. "Welp, time to put my training to the test." Issei raised his left hand in the air and shouted, "Boosted gear." Soon, a green light wrapped around his arm as the gauntlet began to form. "Boost." Donaseek raised his eyebrows in surprise before he began to speak. "The boosted gear. So, one of the 13 long-eyenesses is in the hands of a Scheidling. Interesting." The fallen angel started to form another light spear. "Crap. I just realized I haven't done any training with the boosted gear itself." Issei kept diving as Donaseek kept throwing more light spears. "Don't tell me this is the best you can do, boy." Donaseek shouted, "Come on, show me what you got." The fallen angel continued to throw light spears at the boy. Issei barely managed to dodge each spear as he hides behind a tree. "Damn it. It's because of these stupid weights." Issei took off his ankle weights, which did help lighten the load. However, it didn't help with his current situation as Issei yelps as he ducks down to dodge the light spear crashing through the tree. The tree began to tumble down, forcing Issei to run back out in the line of Donaseek's fire. "Hold still so I can kill you. Damn it. This would be so much easier if he would just stop taking pot shots, the cheap fuck." Issei kept rolling around, trying desperately to keep himself alive. Issei hid behind the fountain. "Wait a minute, what if that's all he can do?" Issei thought to himself while smirking before quickly diving away from the fountain as Donaseek destroyed it with another spear. "Come on, Pops. Is that all you got?" Issei shouted. "My dementia-riddled grandmother has better aim than you." Donaseek growled. "Sooner or later, you'll tire yourself out, brat." Issei was breathing heavily. He was already tired from his workout, and the fact that he was constantly rolling around to keep himself from getting stabbed didn't help matters. Damn it, he's right. But he's getting frustrated. "If I can keep pushing, I can come out on top. Hope." "Maybe you're right. So how about we make it quick, then? Or are you afraid that you're gonna break a hip? If that's how you wanna play, then so be it." Donaseek began a quick descent to the ground before suddenly charging at Issei. "Shit. He's too fast." Issei started to regret his words now. He then began to think about adding another point to that grinding metaphor. Sometimes, you accidentally run into an enemy that you're not ready for. Boost. Issei desperately jabbed his left fist forward while, at the same time, Donaseek thrust his light spear at Issei. Boost. The result was that both Donaseek's spear and Issei's fist collided. Sparks erupted in the center as the two tried to overpower one another. Boost. "Come on, one more." Issei was being pushed back. He was hoping that he could struggle long enough to eventually overpower the fallen angel. Unfortunately, Donaseek gave an extra push, forcing Issei's fist back. "Fuck. Aim over, kid." Donaseek formed another spear, ready to stab Issei. However, a small ball of black energy dropped down toward Donaseek, forcing the fallen to jump back. "What the hell?" he shouted. Issei looked stunned as he saw the energy come out of nowhere. Soon, however, he quickly recovered his footing. Roll with it was his immediate thought before charging at Donaseek. Boost. Issei swings his left fist at Donaseek, but Donaseek manages to block it with his right arm. Grh. Donaseek grunted as he continues to stagger. He managed to regain his footing, but was quickly cut off by a sudden bolt of lightning. Shit. Goddammit. He tried to fly around to dodge the lightning that kept coming down and another ball of destruction. Soon, Donaseek stopped in his tracks as he saw the source of the attacks, two busty girls in school uniforms. One had hair as red as blood, the other had her long, raven hair tied in a ponytail. "Red hire, so you're Rias Gremory?" Donaseek quickly compassed himself while tipping his hat. "My name is Rias Gremory, soon to be the next head of the Gremory family," Rias tells him. "Rias?" Issei thought in surprise. He then looked over to Akeno, who simply waved at him with a smile on her face. "Akeno, too. What's going on?" Rias appeared rather calm, but she had a fierce gaze toward Donaseek. Her normal turquoise eyes turned into a deep shade of crimson while glaring at him. "And may I ask what exactly it is that you're doing in my territory?" Apologies, Eris, I simply got lost while I was taking a stroll. I take it this boy is yours. Donaseek points to Issei, who is getting up, ready to fight Donaseek again despite the situation. Yes. This boy here is with me, Rias answers him, much to the shock of Issei. Hey wait a min. Quiet, Kaneko said, suddenly appearing behind Issei, making the boy jump while letting out a quick yelp. I see. Well, the last thing I want is to cross paths with a Gremory. I shall take my leave now. Donaseek flapped his wings and jumped up into the air. Hey wait, get back here. Issei shouted, I've got one more round in me. Don't throw in the towel now, damn it. Donaseek ignored Issei's words, I hope that we never meet again, Gremory. Donaseek flew away, leaving them behind. However, Issei wasn't content with Donaseek having the last word, eat me. Don't forget to write. He then looked over to see Rias, Akeno and Kaneko all staring at him. Issei started scratching his head awkwardly, hehehe up. Rias smiled as she approached the brunette. Hello. Issei Haidu, is it? I'd like to have a word with you. Really now? Issei began to sweat bullets, that sounds great and all, but I just realized that I have this thing that I to Misawi's right no by. Issei tried to make a run for it, but was stopped by Kaneko grabbing the back of his jacket, holding him in place. Akeno giggled in amusement, while Rias simply kept a smile on her face, come with me. We need to talk, there was a glint of seriousness in her words, as she began to walk away with Akeno not too far behind. Kaneko began to follow them while dragging Issei in tow, who was crying a river in tears. Grandpa in heaven, if I see you when I die, I want you to know that it was in the hands of 3 beautiful girls, Issei thought. End of the part 1. So how was this story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.